It wasn't until she was violated by her husband's friend and robbed of her dignity that the woman finally realized her husband had never loved her. Numbly, she took the money she'd earned with her body to save their child, only to be told at the hospital that the baby was already gone. This was the final blow. Her heart turned completely cold toward her husband. She buried their child's ashes, and along with them, burned the wedding photos of her and her husband. Then she resolutely walked into the water to end her life. By the time her husband found out, it was far too late. What he didn't realize was that every bit of this was his own doing. They'd been childhood friends, and after he made a name for himself, he'd given her a home. He'd always prepared surprises for her on special occasions. Even after they had a child, he'd bought her a cute little rabbit to keep her company so she wouldn't be bored at home alone. Their wedding soon followed, and she thought they'd be happy forever, until the scheming woman showed up at their wedding ceremony. She ordered someone to throw the lifeless rabbit in front of the woman, declaring the wedding invalid and telling her to abort her baby and leave. Then her husband appeared, and said the schemer was speaking for him. "I'll never marry anyone but Yaya," he told her. Confused and devastated, she listened as the schemer finally spilled the truth. To stop their marriage, she'd faked proof that the woman wasn't Yaya, even producing forged medical records claiming Yaya was being treated abroad. That lie had sown a rift between the husband and wife. Without a second thought, he tore the engagement necklace he'd given her from her neck, then ordered her to abort their baby. He wanted no part in it. He turned and left the wedding without a backward glance. The schemer, seeing her chance, shoved the woman hard, trying to make her miscarry. Her plan worked. The woman started bleeding from her lower body and fainted. When she woke up, she was in a hospital bed. Her best friend told her the baby had survived, but they needed a huge sum for surgery. She immediately called her husband to beg for help, but no one answered. Instead, she got a message from the schemer: "If you want to save your baby, come to the mall. This is your only chance." When she arrived, she finally saw her husband's true colors. Furious and already showing his cruel side, he snapped, "She brought this on herself. Whether she lives or dies is none of my business." He pulled out his phone to message Yaya, unaware that the woman in front of him was Yaya. She sent him a message, begging to meet face to face. When he opened the door and saw her, he flew into a rage. "What are you doing here?" he snapped. She tried to pull out her phone to prove her identity, but he swatted her hand away. The schemer couldn't stand by anymore. She rushed over and stepped on the woman's phone, destroying any proof. Desperate to get to the hospital, the woman made a deal. "Give me $1,000,000 for my baby's treatment, and I'll never bother you again. I'll get you the money, I've got other things to do," he said, annoyed. But the schemer wouldn't let her off easy. She dragged the woman into a private room, sneering, "If you want the money, you do exactly what I say." The woman was forced to down a whole bottle of strong liquor, and then violated by her husband's friend. Only then did she get the $1,000,000. As she prepared to leave, she saw her husband still staring at his phone, waiting for Yaya's reply. He had no idea his beloved Yaya had just endured unspeakable cruelty, and that he'd regret this for life. "What happened to you?" he muttered, catching a glimpse of her broken state. "This is what you wanted, isn't it?" she said. "But don't worry, I'll never cling to you again." "Good. Make sure you keep that promise." With that, she walked away without looking back. The husband, still waiting for Yaya's call, dialed her number again. When he heard his own ringtone coming from the phone, she dropped on the floor. He froze completely, finally realizing the truth.